Hey, it's time for another Friday sessions. Thanks for being here with me. We'll get started in 1 minute. Today, you'll use a seat if you have one nearby and you want to have that as a prop. Otherwise, you can do this standing. You don't need a chair or anything at all. I've got my shoes off and I'm just comfortable and no other props necessary. Today, we'll be doing some body tapping. So make yourself comfortable, get anything you need around you to be comfortable, and we'll begin. All right, hello again. Thank you for joining for another Friday session. Today we're doing some body tapping. We're gonna start in a seat if you've got one, standing if you don't. Take your hands, make loose fists, and start all the way down around your ankles, just with little taps. So the knuckles very gently wrap against the muscle, the tissue, the bone on both legs there. And if you joined me from the very beginning, you heard me say that you could do this seated in a chair, or you can do it standing. And if you're standing, you're in a bit of a forward fold. So if you have tight hamstrings, this might tug on your lower back. This might not be the best option for you. If you do have some flexibility in the hamstrings and this doesn't tug, it's a nice gentle stretch to be folded over the legs while you do the tapping on the lower part of the legs. So I'm working with my taps all the way around the back of the Achilles and the calves, and then forward to the shins and the ankles. And we're going to slowly start to work our way up the legs. So then you'll find yourself tapping kind of middle of the shins, middle of the calves. Make sure you go on the inside of the legs, the front, the outside of the legs, and the back. And then we'll continue working our way up. So now toward the very top of that calf muscle, the insertion into the back of the knee, around to the shins, and tapping gently below the kneecap, then around to the inner knee. And then we'll go to the backs of the knees. And it might feel different. You might find you enjoy it more if you're seated and you can allow the legs to relax and the tissue and the muscle there to relax. You might try that down on the calves too. And then we'll work up and gently tap over the tops of the kneecaps. Maybe make some tapping circles around the knees. Continue up to the tops of the thighs, all the way up into the hip creases, and then just go up and down the legs on different lines, inner thighs, tops of the thighs, outer thighs. We're just trying to leave no spot untouched. Going all the way to the outer hips. You'll notice some spots might be more tender than others. There might be some more sensation in some spots than others. Just observe. As long as you're moving gently, just the right amount of pressure for you and how you feel today, then you're not doing it wrong. To get to the backs of the legs, you might need to scoot forward on your seat or stand up. We'll work into the glutes and the outer hips. That area might be able to take a bit more pressure. And we'll work around to the hip flexors. That might be a little more tender, so be gentle there. And around into the bowl of the pelvis there, just above the pubic bone. And then we'll work up to the belly. And we do want to be softer here. So really loose fists. And just gentle taps, maybe even with fingertips rather than knuckles. You can work out to the sides of the waist and then around to the back. the lower back, the sacrum, just over back of the pelvis there. And then when you come back around to the belly, we're going to work in a circle up the right side, across underneath the chest, down the left side, and across the space between the two hip bones. So we'll create that circle up the right, over to the left, down the left, back over to the right. This follows the digestive tract, the ascending and descending tracts, just as a way to gently stimulate the digestion. And you can make those circles slightly smaller. And then tap right at your navel center. All right, we'll bring the other hand back in. Tap just underneath kind of the bra line for women, out to the side ribs. And then take those fingertips again and tap right at the center of the heart. So you'll feel the sternum bone there. And we'll just take turns tapping right hand and left hand, the center of the heart. And then we'll take that straight up the sternum toward the base of the throat. And again, you'll notice I'm using my fingertips here, palpating up and down that central channel from the heart. And then we'll go out over the collarbones, again with the fingertips or maybe the knuckles, curl the fingers in. And we'll go across the top of the chest. So kind of like a Tarzan tap all the way out toward the outer chest, the armpit area, and then to the center. And then fingertips right up over your traps, right at the base of the neck on either side. And again, maybe wrap into the knuckles if you feel like you can take some more pressure. And then up the sides of the neck, up to the jaw, the hinge of the jaw, underneath the throat, and the back of the neck. Good. And then we'll go down the left arm so the right arm can just kind of make that loose fist again and go up and down the arm, finding a new line each time. Maybe some circles around the shoulder. Maybe underneath the arm, get that serratus. And the lats back there on the side. Into the elbow crease, where those creases of the body where we have some lymph nodes, and dispose of the toxins and the harmful bacteria and things in our body. And then down into your palm. And then we'll do the other side. Left hand starts to tap the right arm. Up and down. Circling your way all the way around the arm. So all of this tapping is just gentle tapping to wake up the skin, wake up the circulation in the body, and gently start to tap into some pliability of the tissues, the fascial layer that lies just underneath the skin. Circles around the shoulders. Good, underneath the arm. Good. And then up to the face. So I like to use fingertips here and start at the chin. And then trace the jawline out to the jaw. The hinge of the jaw, there might be some tender spot there right underneath where the upper mandible and lower mandible meet, just in front of the ears. And you can go just behind the ears or up and around the ears. And then you can go across the cheekbones, just underneath the eyes, to the sides of the nose, and then down the sides of the nose to the corner of the mouth, and across the chin. So you're above your chin, any chin protrusion there, just underneath the lower lip. And then we'll go out to the cheeks and up to the temples. We'll do a couple orbits around the eyes. So not tapping on the eyeballs, just tapping where you feel that structure of the facial bones. The skull there. And then up across the ridge of the eyebrows and into the forehead, up to the hairline. And then the third eye, so maybe just one finger right at the center of your forehead, the spot between your two eyebrows. So in addition to waking up the circulation and the skin, as I mentioned, this also just helps to sensitize us to feeling into our bodies and tapping in specific places like this third eye that's known to be kind of a point of intuition and deeper knowledge. Then we start to tap into some of that sensitivity around those qualities, intuition. And then we'll start to tap up the hairline to the very crown of the head. So again, I'm alternating right hand, left hand, tapping at the very tip top of the skull, opening kind of that portal of what lies beyond our sense of knowing, beyond our thinking brains, opening to all the possibilities of the universe. And then we'll start to tap all around the scalp and the skull, spreading the fingers out, covering lots of territory as you travel around. And then for this last minute or so, I invite you to revisit anywhere that felt really good to you, or anywhere that maybe felt like you could zone into sensation. Be that at the forehead or the heart. Maybe the belly felt powerful there. Maybe the legs that helped to tenderize. Some overworked legs. Just explore a little bit more and see if you can feel a little deeper. It's not so much about performing an exact act. It's about how you can feel, what you can feel, what you experience when you're doing this. So make sure that you try to bridge that gap between the doing and the experience itself. Good. And then we're going to let it all go. We'll sit tall and notice. There might be a vibrancy that surrounds you now, that protective organ of the skin, that living, breathing organ that holds us all in, now awake and alert and sensitized, so that we can feel our way through the world today. Take a deep breath in. Feel like you can fill the breath out to the layer of the skin. And then let it go. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me for body tapping. I'll see you next week.